pals. JDawg back to answer more goddamn questions. And we got an emailed question in first before we get to the next goddamn video line. And it's from none other than Harry Quinn. What did he say? Fucking. It says, afternoon, JDawg. Regular devil, Harry Quinn here. Yeah, I definitely recognize you, brah. Check out this beauty. He sent me an image. We'll get to that in a second. It's a dating ad from your good old friend Tom G. Warrior from when he was just a lad of 20 years old. As you can see, it features a charming picture of young Tom captioned with the caption Satanic Slaughter, and notes that he is heavily into horror, black, occult metal, Black Sabbath, and ZZ Top in parentheses, and that he's seeking witches before dawn. Question, did Tom G seek any hoes before dawn, or was he left with his right hand again? So, yeah, again, claiming that he's in what does he call it? Black, horror, black, occult metal. It's like, again, yeah, exactly. Black Sabbath, the fucking ZZ Top. Now, to his defense, though, at that time, 20 years old, so that was probably early 80s when he was 20. Obviously, Venom was definitely around. Merciful Fate. So even then, yeah, I mean, I guess calling Black Sabbath for sure because they were known for singing about occult stuff, which is kind of funny because it's even Dawn of the Dead would say stuff like I've heard him say several times, and I never called him out on it, and it wasn't a call out because I kind of knew what he meant too. When so yeah, the Sabbath boys are who got me into the devil, and it's kind of like when you really break it down, what do you mean? The lyrics are literally religious. Listen to this lyrics on fucking the title track Black Sabbath. Oh God, please help me. Hell, when Asheron covered that song, they used the word Satan. War Pigs, it's all about how corrupt politicians are, and they're evil people, and that they're going to burn in hell. Listen to the goddamn fucking songs on Master Reality. They're literally talking about atheist people and shit, basically being fucking dummies, and they're gonna when they die see the true light. Like, what are you talking about? They're actually like Christian lyrics. Now they were affiliated with the cult, and what is it? I've read like Sabbath interviews and shit like that in magazines years ago, where they would talk about like, yeah, some occult people would come to our shows and shit like that, and they almost shied away like, oh, dude, we want nothing to do with you. So it's kind of funny, but it wasn't only Don. They got me the devil. Like, what do you mean the lyrics religious? I get it where it's come from because it was the media and the press that basically called them devil worshippers, and this is evil, or portrayed it as evil, dark music, and it's like it's literally the exact opposite. But that's fucking hysterical because I'm completely used to that. Not to get on a tangent, because just like in the bodybuilding world, things that may or may not be used in the bodybuilding world that the media portrays about how bad it is, like, dude, it's all complete, it's complete false garbage. Like, it's all completely made up, and that's what the general public looks at it, and they don't know. So I actually, for people that aren't in that world, I literally feel bad for them because they're completely misinformed and missing out on certain shit that they benefit in life. But whatever, that's a whole other goddamn conversation. That's the media for you, completely just deceiving you. That's the same thing with Sabbath. Evil. What are you talking about? He's a Christian man. Fuck, Christian man, if anything. So, but I mean, Tom mentioning, that he likes Sabbath and shit like that, putting that in the cult. I get it though, because they were affiliated with that by the masses, not by on their own account. But at the same time, kind of too, like I said, because Venom was out at the time. Merciful Fate for sure. I'm trying to think who would be dark. But when he was 20 years old, was Bathory out? If not, very, very soon. So kind of gets a pass, but not. But as far as to answer your question, seeking any hoes, I mean, to be completely honest with you, yeah. I mean, even back then, 20 years old was Tom, because I don't know the exact time frame, but 20 years old, what year was that? Was that 82, 84 when he was doing like Hellhammer? Or was he like 15, 16 doing Hellhammer and then 20 years old when Celtic Frost was around? That I'm not sure. So if he was 20 years old and he was doing Celtic Frost, we're talking like 1985 and shit. Then yeah, Sabbath and ZZ Top. Get fucking lost, bro. Death was already out. Possessed was already out. Bathory was out. There's no fucking reason in the world to be bringing up Sabbath and shit. Give me a fucking break. That's already completely fucking ran circles around. Slayer, Show No Mercy. Like, what are you even talking about, dude? Like, why would you be bringing that shit up? But as far as was he actually getting fucking going home with hoes? Probably, especially if by the time if he was in Celtic Frost at age 20. If he was 20 and like let's say 82, 83, very beginning, early stage of Hellhammer, Mm, hard to say. I could see it either way. Probably was scaring most chicks off because, especially, horror and cult and stuff like that. I mean, nobody even cares nowadays. The only people that kind of care nowadays is just super religious fucking Christians that are just brain dead fucking stupid, that are scared by that. The average person who just says they believe in God but doesn't even go to church on Sunday, they don't even care. Nobody cares anymore. Like, if they see a deicide shirt, nobody cares. The 90s and 2000s, even when I was, they did. You get looks and fucking questions, but now nobody gives a flying fuck. Um, so back then, just him claiming that, yeah, he probably scared a lot of chicks away. And Hellhammer wasn't per se popular by that time, especially not his own town. The only people that kind of knew about it is people that were demo tape trading at the time. But again, it depends on what year it was when he was 20 years old. If Hellhammer was done, he's already in Celtic Frost. Um, yeah, I can see probably was getting pussy fucking hand over fist. I don't think he was resorting to his right hand at all. Anyways, next video online with questions is the video in Sweden. To the canoes there say, "What's heavier than the slaughter of the soul?" Like the Pantera U.S. canoes? We're about to find out, goddammit, if anybody actually put an answer in there, which they probably didn't, but we'll see. Scroll the question mark, see what else the fuck they have to say. All the way at the bottom, Go Date Tonser. JDawg, do you think that melodic death metal serves any real purpose? Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't it? I mean, it's a style of music, and if you like that style, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I mean, like, and again, a lot of these guys, fuck, I probably should have done Dumb of the Day. It was literally that, what was it, yesterday's video, whatever. Maybe it was today's video. Yesterday's video, today's video. I forget. When I saw in the comments, somebody said, the guy doesn't know what brutal death metal is. Like, because I said, is Sinister considered brutal death metal? It's Cannibal Corpse. The reason I said I'm aware of what the fuck it is, it's just in previous videos, when I was mentioning stuff as brutal death metal, people are like, Butcher That Birth is not brutal death metal. Broken Hope is not brutal death metal. I'm just like, how is Swamp and Gore not brutal death metal? If it's not brutal death metal, what the fuck is it then? So I was just me saying, is it brutal death metal? With these idiots and all these rules of today, I don't fucking know. So with these fucking rules again, what's melodic black metal? I mean, what's melodic death metal? I'm asking that question right now. Let me clarify, because I know it already went out one ear out the other for some of these dum-dums. They're gonna go, so he doesn't know what melodic death metal is. Yes, I fucking do. But sometimes I mention bands and people are like, that's not one, that don't count. Because all the fucking goddamn rules. Like, to me, Massive Killing Capacity by Dismember, that's a melodic death metal album. Kind of don't even like to say it myself, but the first 2-3 Arch Enemy albums, is that melodic death metal? It's kind of like death and roll. I kind of don't like using the word death metal with the word Arch Enemy, but I like the first, Black Earth and shit by Arch Enemy, and Burning Bridges was pretty good. But it's a melodic metal at the very least. It's definitely melodic. Is it death metal? It's borderline, I guess. Um, at the Gate, Slaughter of the Soul, isn't that kind of melodic death thrash? Is that what it be? Like that. Um, what's Carcass Heartwork considered? Is it considered just death and roll? Melodic death and roll, melodic death metal, whatever you want to like that. So yeah, it sort of suits its purpose. And again, it suits its purpose if you like. It suits a purpose if you like it. If you don't like any of that stuff, then I guess it suits no purpose for you. So depends on whatever you're into, goddamn it. But yeah, personally, I like some of that stuff. Jordan Saley, question: do you like Laz Rocket? Not really. I mean, it was a band I gave a chance once when it came to the shop for the first time. First time it came to the shop was probably maybe around 06, 07. I know I was looking at my early 20s. Put it on, just like, this is just some fucking geezer rock. I don't like it. But I have never gone back to listen to it. So didn't really get a true honest fucking listen. So it was almost 20 years ago, and I remember not caring about it. Life Eternal, question marks. Do you ever purge stuff out of your collection? Yeah, I do. I do. Not as much because I've kind of scrubbed it maybe as far back as 10 years ago to 10 years ago to 10 years of that, in that 10-year time frame. So starting 20 years ago to the last 10 years ago. And then after that, there wasn't too much to purge because I pretty much, but every now and again, here and there, and I'll just find something like, do I really need this? Or I will re-listen to something. And usually when I re-listen to this, it's not like I re-listen to Mortal Throne of the Nazarene or something fucking stupid. We're like, I don't like this. It's like, I know I like this. I've heard it a million times. I know I do. It's usually a band where it's like, oh yeah, I remember picking this up and I don't remember what it sounds like. Then I put it out. I'm like, oh shit, what was I thinking when I picked this up? This kind of sucks. Or I just put it out. I'm like, it's okay. I was like, this is just sounds like clone number clone of a clone of a clone of fucking again Entomb or something. I was like, do I really need this? Um, unless I was totally blown away. So there's been those in the last few years, but one offs here and there, maybe like one or two per year. So nothing crazy. But if I get it, I'm just like, why do I even need this? It's just taking up room. And quite frankly, that's the thing with my collection to run out of space and shit. So I'm tightening the belt buckles a little bit. Caleb Kempf, what great albums are recorded the loudest? It sucks when an album has great songs, but it is recorded too quiet. I definitely agree on that. It's always a selling point for me if it's recorded louder than most. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I'm not sure. No one's popping in my mind. Also, what is it up? What is up with some extreme metal being recorded all weak and quiet? Any insight? No, I don't. The only thing that's kind of popping in my mind because we had something to do with it. Again, I got the half-ass fucking chase answer. It was for Destructor, Australian Destructor, for the album Nailed. That'd be their first full length, right? Because Nuclear Storm was EP. Remember when that came out? I liked the songs. I'm like, why does it sound like shit though? I was like, the volume's super fucking low. And I remember asking Chase, and he's like, that's what Glenn wanted. I was like, why would he want that? And I asked this, specifically asked him, that's where the half-ass response where he either didn't respond or gave an answer of no use. Granted, this was fucking whatever that year that came out. Well, fuck, how long ago was that now? Fucking shit. What year did Nail come out? God damn. Definitely over 10 years ago. So maybe 09, 10, something like that. Maybe 08. I don't even remember, but a long time ago now. So I don't remember the exact response, but I remember specifically asking that and not getting a solid. So that's what he wanted. So that's the only insight I have when I heard that. But the same thing. Why the fuck would you want it? What's the greatest album that's recorded the loudest? I mean, nothing's popping in my mind. I mean, Immolation albums are usually, at least later ones, are recorded pretty goddamn loud, right? At least it seems to be the case. Um, yeah, I don't know. Nobody's popped my mind, but I do agree. I don't like when you get something you gotta fucking crank it way the fuck up. Otherwise, you can't hear it. I was like, that is. I don't dislike the album because again, you can just crank it, but it's a bit just annoying. Like, why the fuck is it so goddamn low? Go to Tonser. Didn't he just ask something? That was the body. Yeah, he was the first one, wasn't he? JDawg, do you like the latest Seraph Uncle album or Poison and Warrant from Germany? Three things I don't care about. I mean, I hear any of those names and like Poison, the fucking first EP and shit is cool. I have it. It's like I remember the song's really long. Um, Warrant and Seraph Uncles were two bands that like I kind of yeah, the Warrants. The first album is good. I don't know it's but I like it. It's good. Every time I put it on, it's kind of a new listen. Sarah Thungle, I remember I listened to just was it the first two or three of the '80s albums. I'm like, it's just kind of a band that did nothing for me. Put them in the Voivod camp. Just did nothing for me. But again, that was I listened to them. I think it was 20, 21, 22, somewhere in that era. No, probably a little later than that, actually. Maybe like 22, 23, somewhere probably around there. And I just remember like this is literally, I was like, this is doing nothing for me. But I revisited now, 17 years, 16 years later, what the fuck it is. Um, maybe I think differently. But when I see Sarah Thunkel, I'm not interested. I'm like, let me put this on the player. I just had zero interest. So, Sewer Vomit. Question, JDawg. Which band do you own the most albums of? Which band do you own the most shirts of? Albums like, when you say albums, are you referring to just records in general, like counting bootlegs and everything, whatever the band has to offer? Or when you say albums, do you mean just their their official albums they put out? Well, I mean, I guess it would depend on who has more albums because I own every single Cannibal Corpse album. I own every single Deicide record. I own every single King Diamond record. I own every single Merciful Fate record. I own every single Mortician album. There's another band I own everything by. Every Nunslaughter album, at least studio album I own. I don't own every piece of fucking thing that they put out, but that wasn't your question either. Um, I own every Dismember album. When you break it down, yeah, there's not a ton of bands I own every album by, because most bands I don't like every album by, especially if it's a band that has, let's say, over 5 albums. The odds of me liking every album is goes down significantly. So I would say one of those bands. And then if you're counting everything, it'd be one of those bands as well. If I had to say who I own the most by, because you're counting like, yeah, just unofficial releases too, bootlegs, just like that. Who do I own the most albums, meaning vinyl albums? If that's what your question, probably be Merciful Fate or Cannibal Corpse. I'd say Merciful Fate, Cannibal Corpse, or King Diamond. Almost for sure be one of those three. Uh, Fenster fucker, JDawg question: why do you never mention Ungentle Exhumation when you talk about Cryptopsy? It's their best release. Later, goddammit. The reason I never do is, like, for example, I own that on 7 inch because it came out on 7 inch, the demo on 7 inch. Um, I heard that after I heard Blasphemy Made Flesh, and I do like it. I like the demo. I like the 7 inch. To me, it wasn't the best. It was like it was the same songs, but just with like maybe a lesser recording. Now, if I heard that first, like let's say I was back in when that demo come out, 91 or so, or maybe 92, whatever the fuck year it is, early 90s. If I heard that first, I was around the time getting metal, and I heard that before Cryptopsy ever had an album. There's a very good chance that was the first thing I heard about them. That's what I would like most. Well, it's kind of like Blasphemy Flay Flesh, Ungentle Exhumation. Why would I take Ungentle Exhumation? The Blasphemy Flesh had way more fucking songs than the same songs. Sounds fucking great. The vocal style by Lord Worm was the same because, as you notice, on Blasphemy Made Flesh and None So Vile, Lord Worm's vocal performance on them are both drastically different. It literally sounds like a different singer, but it's super cool because his vocals on both albums literally sound like nobody. Like there's nobody to date that sound like either one of those albums. So it's like you got two totally different characters for both albums, but a fucking complete greatness. So if I had to go with one, well, I'm going to go with Blasphemy Made Flesh because it was that same sound, same vocal style, same songs, but more songs. Like, why wouldn't I go with that? To me, it's no fucking brainer. So that's why. But yeah, no, it's anytime I hear that demo again, it's great. Yeah, it's totally good. Manuel Schizo Diz. Question time. Have you ever listened to Nevermore? The Politics of Ecstasy. It has Pat O'Brien before joining Cannibal. Not death metal though. I love it. God damn it. No, I don't know if I've ever listened to any of their albums. I've heard them in the background. Craig was always a fan of them as a teenager. I think he's still a fan of them. Not sure on that, but I think so. However, I've seen Nevermore live for sure once. I want to say twice. In the very early 2000s, and I remember being like, not so much for me, kind of because the vocals, but kind of enjoying them. And to be completely honest, now in my adult years, it's a band I would not mind sitting down and listening to an album. I actually have a feeling that I might like them. Never hated them. Like live, I was entertained. And so I remember kind of like at that time too, I always wanted to hear more of the brutal vocals. So when I saw Nevermore live, I was probably between the ages of 14 and 16. So I only wanted to hear extreme shit. The only exceptions to the rule was fucking that couldn't be that wasn't extreme that I liked at the time was Merciful Fate, King Diamond, Sacred Reich, Early Slayer. That was about it. Even Metallica and Iron Maiden, I liked because I heard that when I was young, 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 young. But even then, I kind of kicked into the curve. I wasn't listening to them at all as a teenager. If you would have asked me at the time, do you like them? I'm like, yeah, I like them, but I'm not putting that on over Mortician. That probably would have been my response, to be honest with you. So I wasn't listening. Oh, and Overkill is another band that I was listening to that I liked too at those very earliest. But there's very, very few, unless it was death metal, black metal, or grindcore. Extreme shit only at that time. That was where I was at. Again, very, very few exceptions to the rule. Carcass Heartwork was another one like that. But again, very few exceptions. Um, 20 times. But now, yeah, I mean, I'd say there's a 50-50 chance I would like it, and I wouldn't be against fucking checking them out. But I never officially ever in my life sat down and listened to my record. However, I have a pretty good because the guy had a distinguishable voice, and again, I remember hearing Craig listen to him talking about. I mean, listening to him just walking in on a song here and there, and his vocals live. The guy fucking him and Ross Dolan. I always say had the two guys with the longest hair in the metal scene. Fucking both had hair past their fucking ass. I'm sure there's somebody else too, but as far as like bigger figureheads, those are the two that always popped in my mind. And but I remember just the end of the show, this very distinguishable voice. So if I heard it now, like if they somebody put it on in the shop and I wasn't the one that put it on, no one told me who put it on, I probably would know it was Nevermore. Now I don't know that for sure. I might not. So that's kudos to them there because there's not too many bands that could do that. That I've never even officially listened to an album. Technically, all the most I ever heard by them was live, and that's it. Fast forward, fucking. Let's say I was 15 when I saw them, because it's right around, it probably was about 15, like I said, 14, between 14 and 16. Say for simple math, 15, 23 years ago when I can identify it. Again, I don't know for sure if I'd be able to, but I'm 75% confident I'd be able to. As long as it was something with that same singer. I don't know if they're still around at the same singer. I have no fucking idea, but it was something with the guy with the super ass fucking long hair. Don't even know his goddamn name. So that's an accomplishment right there, because there's not too many goddamn metal bands you can fucking do that for. Barely fucking heard them to sum it all up, and you can identify 23 goddamn years later. That's saying something. And that's what I always say about Mortician. Everyone I know that hates them, they'd walk in the room. I was like, you don't even listen to them. You only heard them a couple times, and you can identify them. I'm like, that's saying something, especially for death metal. I was like, you can't name me another death metal band you can fucking do that for, that you're not a fan of, and you've only heard once or twice, but you remember them literally 10 years later. And I've had that happen for multiple people. I've noticed. Craig was one of them. Never liked Mortician. Never sat down and listened to the whole album, but he's heard them. Me listening to them and shit like that. Anytime playing them a show, listen to the Tish. You would just know, yeah, because they have their own fucking sound. So you know what I mean. So that to me is an accomplishment. Goddamn it, not too many goddamn bands can do that. Sure, you can do that for Macabre too. If you barely heard them, walk in, listen to Macabre. Fuck yeah, listen to Macabre. Goddamn it, it's got distinguishable sound. Try and fucking create that nowadays. Goddamn it, because ain't nobody fucking doing that shit. Comments, questions, you know what we can do. Put the couch, boss, can answer in the morning. Later, goddamn it.